everybody. I hope everybody's having a really good week this week. So this week, what's popping and dropping is a photo pop-up card, and I actually have two different ones you could pick from or do both. This one is the smaller one, and it has the smaller frames. You can get at least 12 on here. You might be able to put more if you take the patience and do it, but it opens very nicely with the 12 that's on here. And then if you want to make a bigger one, this one does 8 very nicely. And you probably could add a few more on here. You just have to play around with it. But for sure, 8 will fit very nicely on this card. So why don't we go ahead and head over to Design Space. Today I'm going to show you how to do the larger one. It would be the same way as the smaller one, except you would have more photos to be able to fit on this one. So why don't we go ahead and head over to Design Space, and I'm going to show you the pieces that you will get in this file, and we'll get started. So I'll meet you over there. Okay, guys, when you open the Photo Collage pop-up card, the large one, this is what you will find in the file. If you want to add any extra pieces, go ahead and do that. Don't forget to go up and name and save your project. And if you'd like, why don't we go ahead and get our pieces cut out, and I'll meet you at the craft table and I'll show you how to put this together. I'll see you there. Okay, guys, now that we are back at the craft table, why don't we go ahead and work our score line and put our pretty paper on. So why don't we go ahead and do that? All right, so we got our pretty paper on. Look how cute that's looking. I love it. Now we can get out our mechanism. Okay, so we have our mechanism out, and we have 2 arms on the opposite of our little, I'm going to call this the hook. So we have an arm over here on the other side of the hook, and then an arm over here on the other side of the hook. This is the top of our mechanism. So what we want to do is work those score lines. We're going to make it a mountain fold, and we're going to work it to the back of our card. So let's do that. So if you notice, I've worked that score line and then this score line over there. Now let's turn our piece over. And if you notice, we just kind of have this little triangle section right here. Okay. So if you notice, we have one there, kind of looks like a little triangle, and a little triangle here. We're going to put a little glue in these 2 areas, and then we're going to fold it over onto that section. Okay. We are not worried about this piece up here. We're just gluing it on this little, it puts me in mind of a little triangle. So let's do that. And I just want to show you where I'm just putting a little glue on each section there. And then we're just going to fold that over and give it a second to set. So you notice that we didn't glue it to our little hook. Our little hook is still free here. Okay, so now we have this middle score line that goes down to the middle. So why don't we go ahead and work that and fold that in half. So we got it folded in half. Now if you notice, we have these 2 slanted score lines. Leaving it just how it is, we can put our finger into that score line and fold it towards us. And we're making this like triangle. And go ahead and give it a good work back and forth a couple of times. And then we're going to do the same thing to this end down here. Put our fingernail in there, or your thumb, and then fold it towards us and then away from us. And do that a couple of times. Then we can open it back up. And then this is kind of like our 3-man snowman mechanism, how it's going to fold all up inside of each other. So that's exactly how it's going to fold. So see how nice and easy that went in there? So if we just take our two little tabs on the side and fold it up, then we have this mechanism folded up, and it should look something like this, which to me, I don't know why, it looks like a body. So we got two arms up here, the body and the legs. So just like our snowman mechanism we used, if you want to put this in a particular place, you can, find wherever you want it, make a little score line, and then we have the hole in the middle to find that out. I'm just centering mine for this week. So you will line the middle score line up with the middle score line in our card base. And you can use that little hole to help you see the score line too. And then once you have it where you would like it, and again, I'm just trying to put mine in the center here, we're going to put glue, and you guessed it, on our two little side tabs right there. And then we will place it where we want it and then glue it down to our card on those two tab sections. So I want to put a little glue on my two side tabs here and then place it on my card. So let's do that. And then once you got this a good rub down and you've let it set for a minute, you can see our mechanism starting to fold up. Now our little hooks, we want to hook inside of each other. So they're going to link across each other like so. So this might be a little tricky, but sometimes helping your card close and get it a little closed and then hooking them across each other works. So I'm kind of leaning my card against me so it's a close a little, and then we're just going to hook these two inside of each other. Okay, you see how I'm doing that right there? I got them just a little bit. Now I'm going to give them a push so they're really inside of each other now. Then once they're hooked inside of one another, we can go ahead and start closing our card. And if they look like they're going to fall apart, just give them a little push and then close it and then give it a rub. And there we have it. Isn't that neat? Okay, so now that we have this done, we can go ahead and get our pieces out if you've not already done them, and we can put our photos together. Now, I'm not doing photos. I'm doing like pretty paper and messages because I thought that would be fun and different. But you could do photos. You could put little animals in here. You could do all different sorts of things. But let's just say you were doing photos. This back piece is what you would put your photo on, and then you would just put the frame around the photo and the photo would stick in there. So I'm going to go ahead and we can put our little photos together, and then we'll meet back up and then we'll start putting it on our card base. So why don't we go ahead and do that? Now for the first two I put on, I do with glue, and the others I usually do with tape, because double-sided tape, because then we can move and adjust them around, because sometimes we may need to adjust them before they're permanently set on our mechanism. And I like to start right here on our little hook we put together, and whichever photo that I really want to pop out is the one I usually put right here at the top. So I'm going to go with this one right here. So what we can do is put a little glue on just see how we have two little tabs here with our hook. You're going to put a little glue up here, and then I usually line it up to this edge over here on our point of our hook. And we will set in like so. And I use the fold. Don't go in past that fold area. So you don't want it down here. You want it just to the edge of that fold. And I'm going to use this edge over here is to where I want my photo to start. Okay, so I'm going to put a little glue on here. So there we have the little glue, and then we're going to take the photo we want to put up there, and I'm just going to line it right over with this point of this hook mechanism, hook section. I'm going to line it right to the edge of that, and we're not going to go past that little cut. So let me show you so you can see how I've kept it right to the edge of that. There you go, that mechanism part, the hook. See how we have kept that edge of our photo frame to the edge of our the hook part, we're calling it, of our mechanism. Okay, then remember, this is the top of our card. So everything we put, you want to make sure you're putting your photos on the correct way. And then our next one, we're going to put here. Now, you don't have to do it in this order. This is just what I find easiest to do. And then I'm going to line this edge up with this edge over here. So we can put a little glue down and then put that on. And this is the top of how it's opening. So I'm going to do my top edge up with this. So that's how the second photo is looking. And if you notice, it will fold up very nicely right in our card. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to need our tape. So let's get some of our double-sided tape out. Or if you have a tape runner, you could definitely use a double-sided tape runner. Okay, so we got our piece of tape on, and just so you can see that right there. That's how much tape I've used, double-sided tape. And this one, we want to place it as, pretty high up on our card, but we also want the majority of it to lean to the right because it needs to clear our card when we go to close it. So I think I'm going to put mine about there. And then you're just going to have to be patient with these because you may have to move the card. So between every time I put one on, I will test to make sure. So you see how it needs to clear and flip down. And this is the one we're looking at, into our card. So that works out very nicely. I probably could move that a little bit further down into my card too if I wanted to. Okay. So we have that guy on. So the nice thing about with the tape is we could take this up if, say, we needed to move it, and then you can adjust your photo and move it to where we need to move it to. So the next one we're going to do is the bottom. So let's get some double-sided tape on it. Okay, so on our bottom one, what we're going to want to do with this one is we want it to go more to the left upside of our card. So I'm going to place mine, I think, about right there. And you want it to be pretty low down on your card. You don't want it to be stuck up underneath this, or it'll keep this one from folding properly. So I think about right there I'm good. We can always give it a test run. So let's see. Oh, that one worked out very nicely. See how it's folding nicely up right in our card? Why don't we go ahead and put tape on each of our little side arms? So let's do that. Okay, so for these two side ones, if you notice when it goes to close, it just folds in. We're watching this arm or this arm into our score line. So our picture is just going to, let's see if we can get it to work, swing down into our card. So we can't place it too low because we don't want it to interfere with our score line, because if we get it in our score line, it's going to keep us from closing our card properly. So for this side, we want to place our photo more up into our card base. So more towards the top of our card. And again, that's why we're using double-sided tape, because it will give us an opportunity to move this if we need to move our photo. So I think I'm going to try mine about right there. I'm just going to bring it up close so you can kind of see where I put it. It's not too far down here, but it's more up to the top, and that might not work. Let's try it out. Okay, see, notice what it's doing. It's good for the score line. It's not in the score line, but notice what it's doing over here. It's going outside of our card. So I need to adjust that. So I'm going to go in just a little, but we could probably keep it in the same place. Okay, so for this guy over here, we're going to put on, we're going to need to put it lower in our card and kind of in to the center. And let's give that a test out. That works out perfectly. I do have a smidge sticking out there, so I need to go a little bit further into my card. There we go. Okay, isn't that cute? Okay, and then for our last two cards, photos, I should say, not cards, I like to add on to these centers here. Now you could stop right here, and this is perfectly, just works very nice, looks nice. But I do want to go in and put some more of cards. Now for this one on the top, I do like to put it back here behind it like so. Okay, see how nice that looks? Now for my last one, I like to add down here on our bottom one, on the bottom somewhere down here. And that works out nicely there. Okay. That's looking so cute. So I think what I'm going to do now is go finish decorating the rest of my card, and then I'll be back to show you what I came up with. I'll see you in just a sec. Okay guys, so here is our finished card. On the front I did thank you, and then we open it up and we have all of this goodiness. I did a thank you. This is a card for my best friend. Her initial is J, so I did J and J. Thank you for being a friend. So grateful for you. And then we can close it up, and on the back we have a place where we can write a message. I just love this. I love how it just folds up into each inside the card, and it's just, to me, it's just like bam. I did want to show you one quick thing before we go. If your arms are getting a little too weak, you can cut another mechanism, and then I just cut the arms off of it like so, and then you can just go on the back here. I've put one on this one and this one. I'm going to put a little glue on it. So I have my glue on it. I'm going to try to do this where you can see and see my arm right there. I am just going to put this on top of my arm, and it's just going to give it a little bit more strength. There you see how I put it on top of there, and see it's holding up, standing up more, and it's not as flimsy. And it's just a preference. You do not have to do that. It still will work very nicely in your card. So that's just a little tip in case you need a little extra support for your arms. You guys know what you call two ducks and a cow? No? Quackers and milk. Guys, I want to thank you so much for stopping by and crafting with me. Don't forget to stop by next week to see what's popping and dropping. Bye.